Okay, this is log two of, well, of my life basically. It's Friday, uh, the 21st of February, and some interesting things have happened so far this week. I'm going to start with what I think is the most interesting thing, and kind of this string of texts that I had with um, crush person. So, um, when I got back from break, like Christmas break, whatever, winter break, um, I had gotten this text from her on January 13th. So, first day back. And I was like, it was kind of weird, right? Because I was like, well, why are you texting me this? What's the point? I don't get it. And then I just kind of responded with something really basic, like, thanks, feels good to be back, blah, blah, blah. And she just said, yeah, in response. So it's kind of weird. Like, there was no follow up to this, it was just kind of a one off thing. And then she sent this text. I don't have the, the date here, but I'm pretty sure it was a week or two after this one. So uh, I have zero time, so she's saying that she doesn't have time to do anything, hang out or whatever. But she thought of me, which is weird, awkward, strange. It's very, very odd. I looked at that and I was like, well, fuck. What's happening? Um, I think I mentioned this last video, but she has a boyfriend. So this is all very weird to me. I don't know if this is just her trying to be friendly or whatever, or what. Like I don't fucking know. So anyway, time goes by. This was last Sunday, so that would have been the 16th. So it's in black, so you probably can't see, but 16. It's the 21st now, obviously. And she was like, so we had been texting about like dreams and stuff beforehand. Um, like just talking about like, weird dreams and shit and what happens when we dream. And then we kind of the conversation kind of lulled off, and we just hadn't talked for like a few hours. Then out of literally nowhere, she sends me this, and um, I so in the past, I so well, this is a little awkward. So I am bipolar, and I almost tried to kill myself in the past. I don't think I've mentioned this to her, but she knows that I have a mental illness. So she sends me this. Yeah, I'm happy to know and appreciate that you're alive. I literally sat down for 30 minutes after I saw this message and just thought. I didn't know what to say back. I I was like what's going on? I don't know. So I just shoot back why in lowercase, just to make it a little more informal and more like raw, I guess. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. So the next morning, Monday, which would be the 17th, she sends this, something cancer related. But then I said, "You're misunderstanding, obviously." And she said, I'm not misunderstanding. I'm just ignoring your question. Cool. Um, and then this message. I don't really know how to qualify feelings of appreciation, but I think it's a selfish way of saying you bring something positive into my life, and I'm happy for that. Okay, so we have a little bit to work with now. It's like happy or alive, but whatever. So something I really, really, really hate is when people say, "Oh, I'm happy you're alive." It feels so awful because it doesn't feel it feels like I'm just a tool for someone else's pleasure, which may or may not be correct. I'm not saying that's how it is, but that's how it feels. It's like, why the fuck? Like, it just makes me very angry. So anyway, this is obviously the same message. So I responded the same day, but like 6 hours later. And then same thing, lowercase, just to make it feel more raw on every single started sentence. Okay, but why say any of this in the first place? What am I supposed to say back to you, or what do you expect me to say back to you? So I literally asked the question because I didn't know what to say. It was like, okay, well, what do you want me to say? And, or what am I supposed to say? It's like, I literally didn't know what to say, so I said this instead. So the way I see it, there are three paths to take here. There was the neutral path, the middle path, which is what I took. There's the like more positive path where you kind of indulge in this and you try to get her to say more, or you say more to get her to say more. And then there's the negative path. Um, and this negative path is being aggressive, being angry, which is how I felt, but not how I responded. So these paths are dangerous either way, and I thought that the neutral path was the best way forward, so I took it. And then she said, I don't expect anything in response. Oops. I don't expect anything in response, truly, which I think is bullshit. She obviously expects something. Like, there's no point in saying any of this if you don't expect something back. Then she said, I know sometimes positive things are said for that reason. So she's acknowledging that there that in that these things could be said for some other reason. But I was sleepy, more willing to be emotionally open to any degree, and wanted to express what I said. It's just it just annoys me so much. It bothers me. It's like, what the fuck, man? That this is bullshit. It's not even like, obviously I want to be with her, but at the same time, like, I don't want to infringe on the happiness she's already experiencing. So it's like, okay, what the fuck do I do? What do I say? So I did not include this message in these texts that you can see on screen. Instead, since I sent something back and I took the positive path that time, I expressed my feelings towards her in the best way I could express them, I think. It's a bit dramatic, a bit over the top, but I want to see what she sends back, and I'll probably include that in the next episode of whatever the hell this is. So, other things that happened this week. On Monday, uh, I was sort of getting sick, and I had expressed this to my chamber teacher in the middle of class. There were three other students, and I was just coughing, and it was like, she just asked me if I was sick or getting sick, and I was like, yeah, sort of. And so after class, she was like, I have some vitamins that you could take that will help you not be sick. It was very weird. It was like no one ever says that or offers that to anyone, especially if it's like your student. And it was like, okay, well, I chose to indulge her just because I thought it would be kind of a dickish move to not say yes. So I said yes. I gave in, and then so the next day I go to her and she gives me 6 pills that are like, obviously there's no scale here, so it's really hard to tell, but like, um I don't know how big they were exactly. Maybe like, Uh, okay. So I have. What's an everyday thing that everyone has that I can compare this to? Um, it's kind of like the cap of a Sharpie. Hold up. Like the cap of a Sharpie, but a little smaller, maybe like half the size of the cap, but like as thick as it. And she gave me six of them and was like, take six of these every 3 hours. And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, that's a lot. And she didn't tell me what was in them, like what the fuck I was putting in my body, but she was just like, take them. I was like, oh, whatever, fuck it. And it occurred to me while I was walking back to lunch after I picked these up that she literally could have just given me cyanide, and I just didn't even question it. It was just very funny. It's weird and it's funny, but she's not American. She speaks with a thick Russian accent, which is pretty nice, pretty cool, pretty awesome. So she's not really super accustomed to like the American way of doing things or like Western culture in general. So it was weird, but I mean, hey, worked, I guess. I don't feel super sick anymore. Um, what else happened? Uh, I had a psychology paper due today. It's an intro to abnormal psych paper, and what we had to do is we had to analyze a character in a MTV True Life video. Fucking weird as shit, but we had to do it. So um, I did it. I watched the video, and we had to diagnose them with panic disorder, or like choose a character and evaluate if they have panic disorder or if they don't have panic disorder. And it took me like 3 hours to do, but I had a lot of fun with it. It was like 3 pages, and then I had to watch the video as well. So probably 3 hours. It was fun though. It was a lot of fun. Um, there was that. I had an English assignment. I had to um, like characterize someone. I had to describe a character, fictional or non-fictional. Is that a word? Non-fictional? Yeah, it is. I think so, at least. Anyway, real or not real, it didn't matter, and we had to describe them. And I hate poetry, absolutely hate it. But I chose to write this in poem form, and I honestly think I did like a decent enough job. Um, yeah, I wrote about the character Hel from Norse mythology, um, the goddess of the underworld. You know, fun stuff, fun stuff. This weekend I'm going back home because my uncle is visiting, and I haven't seen him for a while, so we're gonna do that. Um, I also started a new medication, new SSRI. Um, yeah, that's about it. I also have a benzo I can take every once in a while if I'm feeling too anxious or whatever. It's just kind of like an as needed. It's not like an everyday thing. Um, what else? I think that's it. I think that's all of the weird things that have been going on in my life uh, this week. So I might start to upload um, the stories I write for these classes, or just short stories I've written on my own. Um, I'll probably narrate them and post them and read them to you. Might not, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air right now. Um, I think I'm not going to use Facecam just in case I am recognized. The people I talk about in my videos will also be easily recognized, and I don't want that to happen. So, no Facecam for now, but maybe in the future. in the future, I'll probably put something more interesting in the background rather than just, like a plain white MS Paint fucking garbage shit. Um, I don't know what exactly I'll do, but I'll try to make it more interesting so this video can be watched and not just listened to. Um, I'd say my favorite song this week has been uh, probably Sacred and Wild by Powerwolf. It's a very good song. It's an E flat minor, I think. Um, it's a lot of fun. It's really groovy. Uh, but yeah, I think that's it for this week. Um, Stay tuned, I guess, for what happens next week. Or don't. It's up to you. Doesn't really matter to me. Um, yeah, I think that's it. So, bye.